Okay. Yeah, ready? Okay, so we're about one third down the page, Lamed Beis. The line starts, Kuli Mishakosah b'Makimach. So we're in the middle of parentheses that is putting some handles on the supreme principle of Oyneg be'etzem ha'inyan. In other words, the Oyneg as it is in the source of Oyneg, not as it is recognized by Chokhmah, but the way it is in Tanakh Atzmi itself. Because this is what we're now attempting to understand the difference, the distinction between Chokhmah and Oyneg. Chokhmah and Oyneg are the same thing. And the difference is that in Chokhmah, this is when the Oyneg comes in something, as we discussed, and the Oyneg Atzmi is where it is a be'etzem adover. There is not a thing. There is not any kind of handle. So he says in the parentheses, ultimately he brings on the psukim and so forth, and he says that perhaps this is a distinction between Re'iyas Ha'ayin Mamosh and Re'iyas Ein HaSeichel. We discussed this yesterday. Re'iyas Ein HaSeichel is also Re'iyah. Anybody know what that means? The mind's eye. That's also qualified as sight. And we know what that sight is a super recognition. When you recognize the Inyan from its own truth perspective rather than from your own experience, as we discussed many times. So you have the essence itself. Mind's eye sight is also true sight, but physical eyesight is superior to that. And we explained why. Where is the difference? The difference is that in the mind's eye, even though you see it because it's there, still you see it. There are two aspects. Number one is in the mind's eye, which means the mind recognizes such thing as sight. There is an element of input on the part of the viewer, and then also you see only when you want to see it. When you focus, how do you get to this Borag HaMavrik? By enormous focus. By enormous focus, and you see it only during this focus, because you are focused to see it. Therefore, you see it, it's the truth, you see it not because the truth forces itself on you, but because you are focused on seeing it. Etzem is something which cannot possibly be ignored. You don't need to pursue to see it. I'll give you an example. A very simple, down-to-earth thing. We speak always of the host and the guest. If you are in somebody's home and the host is not standing by you, you see that there is a host here. You see it with the mind's eye, literally see it. But you see it because you are focused on it. When he is standing by you, you don't have to be focused. You see it, you can't ignore it. This is the difference between seeing the mind's eye and the physical. Yes, Ayin Mamush is a completely different level. The real etzem is that which you see, which you, if he chooses to let you see him, there's no way you cannot, you don't put any effort at all. Just like in the physical eye, in the physical vision that we point out, that when you open your eyes, you cannot but see. You don't see because you're paying attention to what you're looking at. We explained this is why the eyes have this lid that allows you to close your eyes. Because if you can't close your eyes, then you'll be in constant alert. You can't dissociate from the rest of the world because you've been constant alert. In order to give a little respite, you have to be able to close your eyes.
Sorry, I missed the part. The closing your eyes. What were the closing your eyes is what? Sorry.
The Rebbe provided the means to close your eyes.
Yeah.
There's no other faculty that you can close.
Right.
Except in the eyes.
And this is
And the reason is because in every other faculty, you can ignore it if you so choose. In the eyes, what you see, you can't ignore it. It's right there in front of you. I mean, it's not there in front of you. It forces itself upon you. You cannot not see it.
Here, like if someone's saying hearing, how can you ignore hearing if someone?
Hearing, you have to focus in on the sound of what comes in. If you don't focus on the sound, you don't see it. Even in hearing, which also, but hearing comes through a certain conduit and it hits you, and if you pay attention to it, you hear it. If you don't pay attention to it, you don't hear it.
You don't hear the message, but you don't hear the actual sound.
You don't hear the message, that's first of all, which is not possible in sight. In sight you see the whole
Right.
reality. And thank you very much. And in a certain sense, because you hear due to your personal affect, if you don't pay attention to your personal affect, you don't hear. Even in touch, there is an attachment element. Sight, just the reality itself, you can't ignore it. Okay, be that as it may, that's an additional thing. The point is that the ears of Ayin is much superior. So it's much superior to the ears in Hasech. Because Ayin is Ein HaSeichel. Ein HaSeichel means the mind's eye. Requires a certain degree of intelligence in order to see. So you're a participant in seeing. The ears of Ayin Mamash doesn't require any participation on your part.
You just have to open your eyes.
You just open your eyes.
That's not considered participation.
That's not considered participation, right? You're not contributing. You're allowing it. You're allowing yourself to see. You don't contribute to seeing it. Therefore, you're seeing it precisely because of its own truth. This is the difference between the oinig shebeseichel, the chochmah, and the oinig in the etzem language. Okay, and we are a third down from the top of the page on the base. The line says such v'kulik mishikosu b'makim acher, and we are right here in the middle of that parenthesis that puts, so to speak, a handle on this in you. It says ve'efsher, and then it's also conceivable. Ve'efsher. Third from the top, not from the bottom. Ve'efsher, and it's conceivable. Shezehu gam kein inyan v'lo yolamdu ish. Now this is also the principle. What the Pasuk says, that in the future days, when there's going to be full revelation, lo yolamdu ish kuli lo yolamdu ish asre'ehu, the Pasuk says. They will not have to teach one to the other. Lo yolamdu ish asre'ehu. What is the Le'olam? How do Le'olam the Isha Suyeyu represent this principle? The Bozeh, because at this level, seeing the Etzem itself, the Bozeh Eino Shayach Ine Halimud, the principle of limud, of learning and presentation, is not applicable. B'bchinas Havo v'Gilui. Because limud means v'bchinas hava, that there is an element of hava, of bringing it forth, revealing it Beis halbasha, in some kind of a garment. Because to teach, you have to put it in words, you have to put it in some kind of a container. This is not something that's possible to, not shaykh to be hava v'gilu. Ki'im b'bchinas hamshochas ha'etzem mamash. This is where the etzem itself not an effect of the etzem, but the etzem mamash itself. This is the oineg, the way it is in its essence, before it comes into chokhmah. And I would like to put in also an efsher, but this is something which we're always pointing out, that this which the Rambam says, that prior to Chokhmah, you already have the sense that there is a Motzi Rishon. There's a Motzi Rishon, this is in the essence of the nefesh. And that is what you live with. This is your Einak Atzmi. That this Motzi Rishon, this point Motzi Rishon, that comes before the Chokhmah, I said Efsher, that this is the different, also correlating that this Motzi Rishon is found in the Etzem HaEinak. And then from that comes the Chokhmah, Amud HaChokhmah.
Since this is always this tainug that's in the etzem is like physical sight in the sense that it can't be ignored. The chiddush of lo yachanef, what is it? That is that tainug will become available on the level of gilui.
Yes, but it's not gilui. It's on the level of gilui. It's not gilui. It's not presentation. You will relate directly to the etzem.
Instead of it just being something that is
like
in the background.
Said, you are in somebody's home, you are in his home. But there's a difference in his presence and his absence.
Right. It's now it's there, but it's somewhere hidden in the background, in other words?
Right. You can't. He is behind the curtain. But you know that you're in his home. This is the chokhmah.
The nefesh only the nefesh has the tainug on the level of that time. but not anything in your
Right, this has not reached the Chokhmah. This is the source of the Chokhmah. This provides for the Chokhmah. This is why it is possible to create a perspective of existence without there being a first being. The only element in a person that rejects it is the nefesh itself. So all you have to do is preoccupy the person in some kind of shtusim avorim, and he's not conscious of his nefesh. Like this gentleman said, I don't know that I'm alive. Now that I mentioned it, I had the opportunity to speak to various young people coming from Israel. And in the Israeli scene, hopefully it's changing, Baruch Hashem, I think it is changing, but for a long while, and it's still also prevalent, the young people were fed such emptiness, with hate towards religion even, Kamol Islam. They're totally empty. So they believe someplace in the Far East or whatever it is, they'll find some kind of a respite, some kind of a calm. So as soon as they have done their service in the army, and then they have the permission to leave the country, they take off. This is almost a common thing. They take right off. Where did they go? They don't go to 770. They go to the Far East, generally speaking. So I spoke to some of these guys. This particular guy said, you have no idea. I was chasing snakes. They put themselves in circumstances that will be challenging to the very existence, so that you feel that I'm alive. The mind was so distracted from the reality that there was nothing real. But now, when a snake was chasing me, I was saying, there was something happening. So this Indian, yes, you can ignore it. You can tell somebody, oh, it's nothing, and the psychologist says, oh, forget it. It's folly. It's imagination. As much as you'll tell him it is something which is irking the person to death, because that's the Yetzer Hara. Okay. Okay, right after the parenthesis. Yisa b'zoyar, and as we find in Zoyar, this is, of course, going back to the few lines before, to before the parentheses. The Lema, this was putting a handle on the Pesukim and so forth, but the Etzem Inyan, what we're discussing is pointing out the difference. The Etzem Ha'oinag, the way it is Be'etzem Nefesh Mamash, and the way the Oinag is in Chochmah, that already provides a Lavush. Yisa b'Zoyar, as it says in the Zoyar, Sheyesh b'Toiro, that in Torah there is Lavusha, Gufa v'Nishmosa, v'Nishmosa v'Nishmosa. there's a word missing here. I'm sorry. Lavusha gufa v'nishmosa linishmosa. There are four madrigas in Torah. There's that which is called lavush, guf, neshama, nefesh, neshama, and then neshama linishmosa. Lavusha, the lavush of Torah, hein hasipurim shebetorah. These are the various relations, the various stories in the Torah. And it's called the lavush. I'm just putting in little handles. It's called the lavush because this is the means by which you take the Torah. Where are you coming from? What are you about? Oh, there was Abraham, there was Sodom, this is the Sipurim of Torah. The Gufa, and then there's the Guf. Ein Gufa Dini HaTorah. These are the bodies of the Dini HaTorah, Shebahem Melubos Bechinas HaChochma, in which the Bechina of Chochma is contained. As we have explained, that Chochma, the lower part of Chochma, so to speak, is that which provides for Metzias, for specific presences. This is the Dini HaTorah. I want that, again, always take an opportunity. The dinim in Torah may seem to us, because of our circumstances and background and so forth, that the dinim are resolutions due to circumstance. A resolution of a situation due to circumstance. In order that such and such shouldn't happen, so you for example, in Shul, there are all kinds of halachas in Shulchan Aruch of who takes precedent to the Omot, and who takes precedent to an Aliyah in the Torah. Aliyah in the Torah, that's already could be a chiyuv, but then it's in the Omot, or where does a person sit, and who comes in first, who comes in last, all kinds of different halachas. And many of these halachas in the Shulchan Aruch itself is already presented in a manner that says that this is to prevent intrigue. This should prevent intrigue.
Intrigue?
Intrigue. Arguments. You ever heard of intrigue?
I understood the word to mean something different.
Okay, teach me.
I'll look it up. I'll look it up later.
I'll show it to you here. So you say, hey, this is just the great Chacham, the sages of the Gemara, of the Torah. Reb Meir, Reb Yehuda, or Rebbe were sitting there and wasting their time to figure out how to prevent Yankel Todas not to fight with Baruch Meir. This is what it's about. And they wrote books on it, and they debated it. Clearly, that's not what it's about. This is the halbosha of Chochmah, bring the Oyneg Eleki into every last crack and crevice in the world. Any kind of breakdown of peace is contradicting the godly presence. It's not always easy to identify how to find that path. And this is what the Chachomim were spending their time with. The Chacham did not go around asking, Yankel told us, would you be insulted if I did this? Kovet Abriyas, you know how much place it takes up in halacha. So this is what he says, that the Gufo, this is Gufei Dine Atera Shebehem Melubesh Bechinas HaChochma, in which the element of the Bechin of Chochma is Melubesh in this Dine Atera. And then the Nishmosa, then there is Nishmosa. Zehu Bechinas HaTainug HaNe'elam BeChochma. Nishmosa, this is the upper part of Chochma, as we said. That in Chochma there are two parts. There's the lower part that's Mislabish, and then there is the upper part, the Tainag Hanelam and Hanelam in Chochma. That the lower part is due to the Tainag Hanelam. Now this is the way it must be. This is where the oinag hoeleki is to be found. And this is nishmos. V'zehu shenizgala b'matan Torah. This nishmos, this tainag hanelam, the chochma, this is what was presented, was revealed at Matan Torah time. Now this is the point over here again. We know that Torah was present before Matan Torah. Everybody knows that Abraham is young, learning Torah all the way from Adam Orishim, and Noach learning Torah. Rashi brings down Menamich and Noach in Omer Torah and Noach Torah. He knew which was kosher and which was not kosher and Torah. But the nishos of the Torah was not given. They knew it mitzad haseichel. At Matan Torah was given the nishmos of the Torah. This is the oinag hanelam that's in Chochma. And as we pointed out lately, this is the Indian from why should people tell him Yeshua? Why do we need them? Mesiras after why need them the Shalshelas HaKabbalah? But I need to receive. I learn it and I understand it. You learn to understand it. What are you missing? The neshama, the oinek shebetor. You can understand everything, the goof and everything. But the neshama will not. The neshama you get only by direct connection. By this Messiah, by this Kabbalah. And this is what was given by Matan Torah. The Neshama of Torah.
How did the Yidden sense that? How did the Yidden sense that at Matan Torah?
They were receiving the Torah from Meibas. They were not learning Torah because it makes sense. Because, like you said, we should keep peeps on something. The Eibusher was there, and the Eibusher, you should do it for my sake. I mention all the time. Alponai. Not because it's not good for you, but because I'm present with you. This is where the oinek from the Chochma is.
So was that oinek an experience of the hiddenness of Hashem that was revealed, or the nishmos?
That was the recognition, yes, the hiddenness of Hashem as it is, as it comes into Chochma. There are two different levels as we're learning now. Basically, in Chochma, you can relate to it through the mitzvahs, to Anoich Hashem Elokecha, through this Kabbalah. And the Yidden, what did it say by Matan Torah? Matan Torah, he spoke, the voice came from all 6 directions. From all 6 directions. This is, how do you take a voice from all 6 directions? You can't take it with your seichel. You take it with your own. You're into it. You're part of it. This is the oinik shebachol. Oinik hanelam b'chol. And as a matter of fact, like, it was something higher than they were able to tolerate, and I called dibur pocha nishmosa. But they had it imbued in them.
So the mitzvahs would be comparable to dinim that Maimer is talking about here?
Yeah. Keep Shabbos, Kabbal Shalicha Veshilecha, these are all the mitzvahs. And then, just quickly, Nishmosa li nishmosa. Then there is Nishmosa li nishmosa. The neshama that provides for the neshama that's in Chochmah. Zeh b'china ha'tana go atzmi, sheloi bo adayin b'chinas Chochmah. This is ha'tana go atzmi, sheloi bo adayin b'chinas Chochmah. Which means it has no goof by which you can identify it. Okay, and here we have to interrupt. Okay, gentlemen, I have to tell you that this interruption is going to be a little bit longer, and we are going to be away over the Shabbos to take most of the day. So the thing is like this. My personal opinion is that Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, especially Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday classes, it would be very good if you can review it.